clear by using this instruction.
This call is now
CLR
being recorded.
Similarly, the next instruction is CLR bit. Now, what does it mean? So this instruction CLR bit is used to clear a specific bit of the address specified. Okay, that means if suppose the instruction is CLR port, okay, we say P0.0. Okay, so what it will do? It will clear 0 bit or 0th bit of port 0. Okay, so such instructions only where a specific bit is clear, these are called as clear bit. Okay, so the instruction will be CLR bit. Now, similarly to the clear, some instructions are used to set the bit. Okay, so first instruction is set B. See, set B means here the specific bit which is specified in the instruction that will get set. Okay, so if the instruction is set B C, what it will do? It will set carry bit of the PSW. Okay, so that specific bit will get set. Okay. Similarly, the next instruction is set B a bit, specific bit which is specified in the instruction. So here what will happen? It will set a specific bit which is used or which is addressed into the instruction. So that particular bit will get set. Okay. The next instruction in the Boolean instruction group is CPL C. Now, what is the meaning of this instruction? This instruction will complement the carry bit. So, if suppose the carry bit is 0, then after execution of this instruction CPLC, what will happen? The carry bit will become 1. Okay. Similarly, if suppose carry bit is 1, then after execution of this instruction, what will happen? Carry bit will become 0. So whatever the status of the carry bit, that will get complemented by using complement carry instruction. Okay. Similarly, the next instruction is CPL bit. So here what will happen in this instruction? Here, whatever the status of the bit which is specified in the instruction, that status will get complemented. So if the bit is 0, that will become 1, and if the bit is 1, that will become 0. Now, the next instruction is ANL C, bit. So here what will happen? Here a specific bit which is specified in the instruction, that will get logically ANDed with the carry bit, and the result will be stored into the carry. Okay. So if suppose the instruction is ANL C, if suppose the bit is specified as P0.1, so what will happen? The port 0.1 status that will get complemented with carry, and that will get ANDed with carry, and the result of this ANDing will get stored into the carry. So here carry will get logically ANDed with port 0.1, and the result of this ANDing will get stored into the carry. Okay. Similarly, the next instruction will be ANL C, /bit. So what does it mean? Here, the complement of the bit will get logically ANDed with carry bit, and the result of this logical ANDing will get stored into the carry bit. So let's say, or let's assume C bit is 0, and or for the sake of simplicity, we'll take it as 1, and the bit which is specified is 0. Okay. So after execution of this instruction, what will happen? First, this bit 0 will get complemented. So it will be complement of this bit will become 1. Now this 1 will get logically ANDed with the carry bit, and the result will get stored into the carry bit. So carry bit will become 1, as 1 is logically ANDed with 1 and the result is 0. Similarly, if suppose the carry bit is 0 and we'll take the bit status as 0, then the complement of this 0 will become 1. So this 1 will get logically ANDed with this 0. The result will be 0 that will get stored into the carry bit. Okay, everyone is getting it? Now, similar to the AND, more instructions, logical instructions will be ORL C comma bit. Now here what will happen? A specific bit which is specified in the instruction, that bit will get logically ORed with carry bit, and the result of this ORing is stored into the carry bit. So just like a ANDing operation, here the OR operation will take place. Similarly, the next instruction will be ORL C comma slash bit. So here what will happen? A specific bit will get first complemented, and the result of this complementing will get logically ORed with the carry bit, and the result of this will get stored into the carry. The next instructions are move C comma bit. So here what will happen? Here a specific bit which is specified in the instruction, or the direct bit, will get moved or will get transferred into the carry bit. Okay, so see that a specific bit that will get transferred into the carry bit. Similarly, if suppose the instruction is move bit comma carry, so here what will happen? Can anyone tell? Is everyone available or not? I'm not getting any response. Hello? Right, Arya, Evanjali? So here, carry bit will get transferred into a specific bit, which is specific. Okay. Now the next is remaining instructions are related with the jump or the branching instructions. So we will take that Boolean instructions afterwards. Okay. Few more instructions are related with the accumulator. Okay. So in which the first instruction is CLR A. The meaning of this instruction is clear accumulator. This is not Boolean instruction, just instructions we have missed in the previous instruction set that I am taking. So here, by using this instruction, what will happen? The accumulator contents will get cleared. So whatever may be the status of accumulator, let's say accumulator contents are 45H. So after execution of this instruction, clear accumulator, what will happen? Accumulator contents will become 00. That means all the data which is available into the accumulator, that will get cleared by the instruction clear accumulator. Similarly, the next instruction is CPL accumulator. The meaning of this instruction is complement accumulator contents. Okay. So here what will happen? Whatever the contents are available into the accumulator, that will get complemented, and the result of this complementing will get stored into the accumulator. So here, let's say if accumulator contents are 45H. So what will be the status of accumulator? 0100 0101. Okay. So here what will happen? The complement of accumulator will be here. Complement of 0 is 1, then 0, 1, 1, and again 1, 0, 1, 0. So here the result will be 8 plus 2, 10 plus 1, 11. So here it is B, and here 8 plus 2, 10, that is A. So I think, am I right? Right, okay. So the data is BA. So the accumulator contents will become 0 BA. Now why we are representing it as 0 BA? Because whenever we are writing the instructions for kill or for compiler, here the characters are not specified directly. So here we need to provide 0 before that character. Okay. So here to represent it, here the data will be 0 BAH, but actually the contents of the accumulator will be BA. Okay. So everyone got it? Okay, everyone is available. Okay. Now we will take further instructions. The next group of instruction is the branching instructions. Okay. So we'll see branch instruction. Now, before starting the branching instructions, we need to know what is branching and why it is necessary. Okay. Now, let's say here, if suppose the programmer wants to jump from main program to another program. Okay. So the case may occur where the programmer has written some sort of programs or some sort of lines which are coming repeatedly into the main program, and programmer do not want to repeat that lines. So in that case, what the programmer will do? Programmer will write separate bunch of instructions which are coming repeatedly, and programmer will access that data after certain time delay or after certain event. Okay, so in that case, the programmer needs to jump from main program to that other program. Okay. So here in such cases, the branching is required. Okay, everyone got it? We'll take the simple example. Now suppose the programmer has written a simple program which is having the flow like this. This is the flow where the program is started here with the initial location 0000H, and the programmer the program ends at some location like 002F H. Okay. So up to this location, the program is available. Now in this case, here during this execution of program, there are some programs or some lines which are repeatedly occur into that program. Now in this case, the programmer what will do? Programmer will write the separate program here, okay, or separate lines here, okay, and that will get called. First we will write some the address location that will be available at some location like 0031H to another location 0036H. Okay, we will take only few lines. Now within this program, if suppose here these lines are available here these lines are available, here these lines are available, here these lines are available. That means the same instructions are repeatedly again and again. So here what the programmer will do, programmer have written some lines here which are coming repeatedly and will access from this location to here. After that, after complete execution of all these instructions, again it will return back to the next instruction. After that, it will execute the remaining instruction. Again, if the lines are coming here or repeatedly required here, then again from this location, the programmer will access. And after execution of these lines, again, it will return back to this program. Again here, it will access that line and again, it will return back to this program. Again, from here, it will access these lines and again it will return back to the main program after execution. Okay, everyone got it? So these lines are repeatedly required. So in that case, if in the main program these lines are written repeatedly, it will increase the space. Okay, that's why the programmer has written the lines separately and called these lines within the main program. Okay, normally the delay programs are like this. Okay. Now, or in some cases, if suppose the interrupts has been generated, then such type of programs has been written. Now, this main program or this program is called as main program. Okay. And these lines which are written separately, these are called as subroutine. Now, these subroutines are called into the main program whenever it is required. Now, for calling this subroutine or calling these lines again and again, here there are some conditions. In some cases, the programmer will write the program or will access the program without any requirement or without any condition. Okay. That means if suppose the program counter reaches to this location, directly it will jump to this program. It will execute the instruction and again it will return back to the main program. Okay. Now, in some cases, if suppose the programmer has given some specific conditions, that means the program will jump to this subroutine if such conditions are satisfied or some conditions are satisfied. Then what will happen during the execution of the program? If condition is satisfied, then it will jump to the subroutine, and after execution of the subroutine, it will return back to the main program. Okay. And in some cases, if suppose the condition is not satisfied, then the program counter will not jump to this main program, but it will execute the main program or the next instructions here. Okay. So if suppose there are not any conditions are provided, then such branching or such type of jump is called as unconditional. Okay. Unconditional branching or unconditional jump. Okay. And if suppose the conditions are provided, then it is called as conditional jump. Conditional jump. Now, which are these conditions? These conditions are normally setting the carry bit or clearing the carry bit. Then setting the carry, clearing the carry. Similarly, setting the 0 bit, clearing the 0 bit. Okay. So these are some conditions, okay, or some specific conditions which I have given here. Okay. Then the third condition is status is whether the result is positive or negative. That means if the number is even or odd, so it will be even or odd. So such conditions are available. So these conditions are available into the PSW bit or PSW register. So according to the status of the bits available into the PSW, this conditional jump or conditional branch has been occurred. Okay. So for that purpose, here few instructions are available. And these instructions are called as program branching instructions. Okay. So we will take some of the instructions here. In the branching instruction, the first instruction is one more thing. Here these instructions are either call instructions or jump instructions. Right, Rishikesh, did you like function call? So these instructions are either call instructions or jump instructions. Now, what is the meaning? Here, if suppose the program is written separately, then the call instruction is executed or call instruction is required. If the program is written separately or if the lines are written separately, then the call instructions are used. Okay. And if suppose the programmer needs to jump within the program, that means if suppose the program counter is available here and again from this location the programmer needs to jump to this location. Okay. Then it creates a loop. But here the program counter gets changes or this address will get changed from this location to this location. So within the program itself, here the branching takes place. Okay. The basic meaning of branching is change in the address available in program counter. Okay. In simple words, it is called as branching. Okay. So here, if lines are written separately and these are accessed into the main program repeatedly or during after satisfying some conditions, then call instructions are called. And if suppose the programmer needs to jump within the program itself, then it is called as or it requires jump instructions. Here, so here only address will get changed, but here the flow of the program within a main program itself. Okay, so it will not get shifted to the subroutine. Okay, everyone got it? So here two instructions are available, or two types of instructions are available. Some instructions are called call instruction and some are called jump instructions. Okay. Now here, the call instructions are unconditional as well as conditional call instruction. Similarly, jump instructions are unconditional jump as well as conditional jump instructions. Okay. So everyone got it? Okay, so first we'll take jump instruction and then we'll move towards the call instruction. So within the jump instruction, first instruction is jump, unconditional jump. Just let me see where it is available. So we will see the jump instructions in which the first one is SJMP. So it is called as short jump. So here what will happen? The meaning is jump within the absolute short range. Okay, and it will require only 2 machine cycles. So what is the range? It has only a 2 bytes. What do we say? So within a short span here, this jump instruction will get executed. That means if suppose within a range of 128 bytes, here the jump can take place using a short jump instruction. Okay. Similarly, the next is a jump. This is called as absolute jump. So here the range of jump is more as compared to the short jump. And here it will get it will get jump within a 4K of RAM. So that means within a span more than short jump, here this jump will take place. The next one is L jump. So it is called as long jump. So this is short jump. Within 128 byte. It is called as absolute jump. Within 4K space. And L jump is called as long jump, where the program counter will get jump or will get shifted from within the range of 64K. Okay, so here this long jump is used. Okay. So here what will happen after execution of this instruction? If suppose the JM, if the instruction is S jump, if this instruction is executed, and before execution, if the program counter is having some sort of address, let's say 1000H. Okay. Then after execution of S jump instruction, then what will happen? The program counter will get changed. Okay. But where it will get changed? Here, within the instruction here, for every instruction, here it has been provided with label. So this label, either this is a label or this is the address. Normally it is represented by a label. Okay. So here it has given some sort of label. Okay. So here in the program itself, or in the example, if we take it is as S jump back. Okay. And this back is provided somewhere here. This back is provided at the location, let's say 0FFC. Okay, this is the location. Okay, this where this label is provided. Then after execution of S jump back instruction, what will happen? Here the program counter contents which are 1000H that will get changed to new contents as 0FFC. This will be the new address available into the program counter. Okay. So here for every jump instruction, here the relative address or the label is provided. Okay. So either this will be the long address, this will be the absolute address, or this will be the short address. Okay, or the relative address. But for jump to take the jump here, this address or this label is must, and this label is provided before the instruction where the jump is taken. So from this labeled location, that will get jump to the provided location, like here. So this is called as jump instructions. Okay, and these jump instructions are unconditional instructions. These are unconditional. Why these are unconditional? Because for this jump, there is not any condition is specified within the instruction. Okay. So here only it is a simple jump instructions without providing any sort of conditions. Either the carry jump if carry is generated, jump if carry is not generated, or if jump is 0, jump is not 0, like this. Okay, so these are a simple unconditional jump instructions. Okay. Now we will see some conditional jump instruction. Conditional jump instruction. So which conditions are available? Carry, 0, negative or positive. So these are the different conditions. So depending upon the conditions here, the jump instructions are used. Okay. So we will take the example. First is JC. Okay. So here for the sake of simplicity, we will write JC label. So what does it mean? Jump if carry is set. Where the carry will get set? That will get set into the PSW register. So if that carry bit is set, then only jump to this labeled location. Otherwise, execute the next instruction. So if suppose within the program, if the instruction is JC back is nothing but a label which is provided somewhere into the program. So if this instruction is executed, then the current address which is available into the program, the controller will execute that instruction and it will shift to the new address location which is provided at the labeled location back. Okay. So this is jump if carry. What will happen? The program counter will execute the current instruction, that is jump if carry. If it is completed or after execution of this instruction, the program counter will jump to the new location or the labeled location and it will again start execution of the program. Similarly, the next instruction will be JNC, that is jump if no carry. So what will happen? It will check the condition whether the carry is clear or resetted. If the carry is resetted, then only it will execute the instruction or jump will take place. Otherwise, it will execute the further instructions. So here we write JNC back is nothing but a label. We will write here as label. So if the carry is not set, then only the jump will take place to the labeled location or it will turn into the labeled location. Otherwise, it will execute the next instruction. Everyone got it? I think I'm not getting a response. Okay.